Thanks for joining us for this episode of The Gospel Rebel, where we equip you to stand firm in your faith as a true man of God. In a society where authentic biblical manhood is under attack, we empower you to rise above the lies and oppression to embrace the gospel as the natural rebel against darkness. And now, here's your host, Rich Miller.
Hey folks, welcome to the Gospel Rebel Podcast. I'm Rich. I want to talk today about not allowing the man to lead the home. Now, this is a very touchy subject, but I want to come at it in a way maybe you haven't heard before, and just ponder this. When a man and wife get married, they have children, then the mom becomes, over time and a way of natural course, she becomes the go-to person in making the decisions for the family, decisions specifically for the kids. And it's not that she can't make the right decision. It's the persona and the perception of what the children are being taught. And it's a normal thing for that to occur. But what happens in the process is when dad starts chiming in, especially when the kids have gotten older, teenage years, and he's starting to chime in and giving his opinion, or hopefully a biblical opinion, what happens is he's rejected and he's not allowed to lead the home because mom has become the normative figure of authoritative resolution to get questions answered, to get approval for this, that, or the other. And another aspect, sometimes what we see is when there's bitterness with the wife towards the husband. She can use the kids as a very latent, stealthy prodding tool to get at the husband if there's bitterness there. This is why forgiveness is imperative in a family, in a relationship, because once forgiveness is not awarded to the other person, that relationship will deteriorate and die over time. And what happens is if there's already bitterness in that marriage, the husband may become resentful that he's not allowed to make decisions in his home as a man. And a man has to have respect to feel like a man in his own kingdom. And the wife knows that, especially if she's a Christian lady in church. She knows how to tweak the man, so to speak, to poke and prod, that kind of thing. And believe it or not, it goes on in good Christian homes. So there has to be an understanding of decision making. And what happens over time is moms can't become that central authority to make the decisions. And again, you want the father in that because you want to teach the kids there's a biblical order how to have a marriage, how a home is supposed to run and function for God's glory, and it's the best way for it to function. Now, what will happen is if the mom or wife isn't aware of this, and of course this could be for the man in the other direction too, if that's the case. If a wedge will happen, a wedge will be in that marriage eventually. And what are you going to do when the kids are gone from the house? You have nothing left. You destroyed your marriage. The reason why you were together were the kids. Now the kids are gone. And so you have to understand that there are long-term consequences, systemic fallout for decisions that are being made. Now, sometimes the mom doesn't even realize that she's doing this because she is being so fulfilled as a mom that she is not aware. She's not doing this out of bitterness. She is not aware of that role that she's providing for the kids. She's got so accustomed to making the decisions. This happens in military families, when the husband's deployed. And there has to be that turn-off switch. Okay, my husband's back or my wife's back from deployment and this kind of thing. And so we have to be conscious about this. The mom may not be aware that she's actually doing this. And just by default, she becomes the authority figure making all the decisions. Now that's the normative behavior. And when the dad comes in and tries to make a decision, he's rejected. He's not allowed to lead his home, and he can be resentful himself about it. And so because he's in many cases funding the activities that the mom and the kids are making decisions over, or it could be more serious decisions that are being made. Now, at a certain point in time in a family, the mom needs to pass the kids off in the decision-making process to the dad so they can become familiar when they get their own families on how this is supposed to work. Now, especially if it's a young boy, you want him to be passed off to the dad somewhere around 10, 11, 12 years of age, because he needs to be learn the mindset of a father. Hopefully you have a good Bible-believing godly man that you want that mindset, that biblical worldview, to be passed on to the kid. From a man perspective, what we fail to realize is when that doesn't happen, when the mom doesn't pass that off, that young boy is not going to have the proper understanding of his own male leadership in his home. And then the wife that he marries is going to become the leader of that home. So now you have a 100% reversible biblical order or non-biblical order in his life because of this. Now, moms, you can't love your kids too much, but here's the thing: at a certain point in their life, you don't want to be the sole authority in the decision-making process. You want to bring that man in, your husband in, and if you're doing this now, continue to doing it. You're doing it right. Double thumbs up. But over time, sometimes it's for just simple expediency of decision-making, the wife or the mom should go ahead and make a decision. And you need to realize that's a detriment to the children and to the marriage. Children can tax your marriage beyond what you can imagine if you're not aware of it. So this is why sometimes men are not allowed to lead in their home, and it gets frustrating. Men have to have respect in their own kingdom to feel like they're the man in the house, and to feel like a man. And if a man can't feel that way, he's going to be discouraged, and it's going to come out in the relationship. So we want to have a biblical order of our thinking and understanding of this. And I hope this is a help to you. If you know someone dealing with this, please forward this link to them. The Gospel Rebel Podcast. Thank you for joining. God bless you. If you're in the middle Georgia area, we'll be glad to have you at ENON Baptist Church, Monticello. We're just a few minutes north of Bibb County, a few minutes from Jackson. It'll be a nice, pleasant drive for you. God bless you. Take care.
If you enjoy this content, please subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you know other men who are ready to take a stand, well, share this podcast with them and invite them to join our gospel rebellion. Thanks again for joining us for this episode, and we look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Gospel Rebel.